After being in a different culture for almost 7 years, returning to your home country can be quite a bit of a shock. The experience can be, well, a little bit tricky.
Hi guys, my name is Minh. I'm a teacher at IELTS Fighter. I've studied at Nottingham Trent University, double major in linguistics and media. And this is the story about readjusting to Vietnamese lifestyle after living abroad for 7 years.
First thing first, what is reverse culture shock?
Reverse culture shock is a common reaction to returning to your home country after living and studying abroad for quite some time. After you return home, you might feel slightly disoriented and out of place.
This feeling is similar to what you felt when you first arrived in your host country. The emotional and psychological stage of readjustment is called reverse culture shock.
It is impossible not to note the most difficult thing that I encountered when I first came back to Vietnam: the weather. It was, of course, the wall of heat and humidity that was waiting for me as soon as I landed in Noi Bai International Airport. The 40-degree weather is no small thing when you have just come back from a windy and cold country like the UK.
When you live in the UK, English is undoubtedly the universal language that everyone uses every day.
Naturally, using English as the only language to communicate became my new normal. This also means I was adapting to the way the Brits spoke, the slangs and idioms that they used to express themselves. One of the things that I really missed was speaking Vietnamese, my mother tongue, so I tried to speak Vietnamese as much as I could with friends and family over the phone. However, going back to Vietnam is not as simple as a phone call. There were many Vietnamese words and idioms that I've forgotten, which is why I found the language barrier quite difficult, since English was the only language I used to communicate for almost 7 years.
It actually took me a couple of months to work up the courage to drive around in Vietnam.
First, I had to remember the fact that we Viet people drive on the right side when I'm so used to people driving on the left in the UK. Traffic in Vietnam is extremely hectic compared to the UK, so every time I go back to Vietnam, I'm surprised again by the amazing driving skills that Viet people possess. Driving in the UK can be expensive. Very rarely will you see a motorbike on the street. Most British people use public transport like the tram, tubes, and buses to get around.
Back here in Vietnam, the freedom of being able to get on your trusty motorbike and driving it around is truly one of a kind.
The British love their tea. Tea or a cuppa is a commonly asked question whilst visiting someone's home in the UK.
Our Vietnamese people, on the other hand, are coffee crazy. It is more than just a simple beverage. It is a way of life. There's nothing better than to be able to hang out and meet up with friends at coffee shops that are scattered around the city.
I love being back home. It's like hitting the refresh button on life. It's like revisiting your roots and learning all about your home country again as a new person.
I can fill my belly with all the mouth-watering Vietnamese dishes that I've missed dearly when I was away. Most importantly, it's great to see my family and catch up with my friends that I've been missing all this time. I've gotten pretty used to culture shock, and it's not such a bad thing. People might view it as something negative, but personally, it just means that I've had amazing experiences on the other side of the world that I am now ready to share and re-immerse into the beautiful country that I grew up in.
The essence of the Vietnamese cultures and traditions that I was brought up in and all the amazing experiences that I've had when I was living abroad have converged and shaped me into the person that I am today, and I am forever grateful for it. I'll end this video with a quote from the great Nelson Mandela.